Greetings, Wranglers. This is Mr. Friday doing his Friday video update. In the spirit of video, since you all are embarking on the Sydney journey and we're all doing videos, I felt that it would be a good idea to do a video myself, just kind of modeling it because I don't like video as well, but I think it's a very efficient way for us to do things, especially with instruction and looking in back and reflecting. So I'm just modeling doing this. I have a couple things that I want to talk about with you before we kick off next week, and I want you to be thinking about this during the week. The first thing that I wanted to discuss is time. How do we spend our time in class? How do we plan to ensure that we have bell-to-bell instruction? Are we maximizing and teaching students how to transition well from activity to activity? If they are in small groups or in stations, how are we ensuring they are on task and on pace with what we want them to do? Really think about when you're executing and planning your lessons, how you can maximize the use of time and minimize the loss of time. This also includes following your scheduled blocks of instruction. Now, I do understand at times we may need some adjustments as teachers and find out maybe I need a couple extra minutes with this concept to really hit it home, but it really should be the exception and not the rule. Secondly, with regards to time, our intervention. The year is going by quickly. We already are in the second grading cycle. So we need to remember that intervention is a marathon and not a sprint. And I know each year we get in the habit of really targeting our instruction for our upper grade levels right before STAR. We will continue to have targeted intervention. However, the more consistent we are in intervening on behalf of students, targeting those specific skills with specific students, we're going to be more effective. So, when we do our WDMs, when we analyze our CBA data, and we identify skills and students that need to be targeted, it's important that you do follow through. And as administrators, we'll follow through and be there to support you and give you a high five, but we need to make sure that those happen. Tutorials. When we have targeted tutorials, they need to start on time. They need to be where students are invited and parents are confirmed as far as the students' attendance. We need them there. Mr. Lopez and I will gladly help if you have a reluctant parent so that we can ensure that that student is there. We'll also have students that parents may just want them to stay, and that's fine. However, we should not let that stop us from providing targeted instruction during tutorials. We will be making adjustments, especially for our STAR teachers, so STAR teachers can leave the porch at around 3:25 because I want tutorials to start promptly at 3:30. We should be able to get a quality intervention time with 30 minutes of instruction during tutorials. Goals, goals, goals. That's another thing that I wanted to talk about. How are you systematically using campus goals to drive your class? For STAR level teachers, how are you conferencing with your students to share their goals that we have on that growth worksheet? And revisit them often. Is it planned part of your Fridays? Is it part of iTime release? Is it part of your station rotations? Whatever you do, I want you to develop a system so that your students have goals in reading and math. They are conscientious and know those goals. And then you use rewards to get the kids excited. Today I bought Takis and I also bought some Sour Punch Twists. Whatever I can do to give you the tools you need to motivate your students, please let me know. We want to be there for you, and we also want the students motivated to be the best version of themselves. If we do a good job with that, I can tell you that for sure we'll be able to meet our parent promise goal of 80% of our students showing growth in reading and in math. Next thing, campus behavior clipboards. Every one of you will receive one of these in your boxes. You notice there's a teacher's name on the side here and then students' names. Then we have the days of the week, Monday through Friday, and then within each you have 5 little blocks. How we're going to use this is as students transition from your class perhaps to the other teacher, this will follow. From your class to the hallways to the cafeteria, this will follow to the cafeteria. This will follow you to recess. And then for specials, this will follow the students to gym. Now, the other specials teachers will be able to submit a form to let you know if a child did not meet expectations. So what expectations are we having them follow? Well, it's simple. The Wrangler Pledge. We are looking for if they're following hallway expectations, cafeteria expectations. When a child does not meet expectations, you're going to find their name under the day, and then you're going to start off by writing a 0 here on O. The second page, oh look, it opened automatically. You see there's longer lines, and in those lines you're going to write down a little comment of why the student lost their point. And then that goes back to the teacher. Now as a teacher, you have 2 options with that 0. One, you need to monitor that behavior to see, for example, if Johnny is talking in the halls. And then if the student is caught doing a right choice and fixing that previous behavior, for example, if Johnny is now seen being quiet in the halls, you're going to give him a line. Now later in the day, if you see Johnny once again being quiet, you want to put a second line making it like a target here, and that erases that point loss. Okay, so it's an opportunity to 1, hold kids accountable, 2, to encourage them to make better decisions to target those behaviors so they do not lose their points. How does this work? Well, this can also contribute to if you give a child their Wrangler point for their bingo. So school-wide system to hold students accountable and at the same time give them opportunities to make more right choices instead of wrong choices. So if you have questions about the behavioral clipboards, please come and see me or Mr. Lopez. We'll gladly help you. The last thing I want to talk about are our LOs and DOLs. There has been a big push by the district, and before we do campus walks where other people come and visit us, they're really going to look critically at our LOs and DOLs. So most of you know we have a checklist that's on Google Drive. I will send that out also. But we have criteria for LOs and DOLs. Now, LOs and DOLs must be aligned to campus expectations. Now, some of you are combining them into one, and that's okay as long as it meets campus expectations. Now, you need to remember, the one thing that we need to remember is an LO is never about an agenda. It's never about an activity. Rather, it should be it should be connected to the standard and the level of learning or the verb that you're focusing in on. So for example, in main idea, a non-example or not a strong LO would be, I will try to identify the main idea with an exit ticket. Identify may be part of the TEAC. Main idea is an important concept. However, with an exit ticket does not tell me what the exit ticket will do. A better example would be, I will be able to identify the main idea with an exit ticket that includes supporting details with text evidence. If you have questions regarding our LOs and DOLs, we will work with you during your PLCs and certainly on your WDMs. That's all I have for our update for next week. Next week, I sent you a PLC adjustment schedule. So please be sure you review that because our normal PLCs are not the same order. We will be doing a lot of CBA analysis, and you need to prepare for those analysis sessions during PLC, so pay close attention to them. And for Thursday, our staff development, we will have Ms. Lozano covering our second sheltered instruction strategy of the week. That concludes my Friday update. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to send me an email, send me a text, and I'll gladly talk to you about them. Have a wonderful, fair weekend, Wranglers. Be sure that you take some time to rest, to reflect, and spend time with loved ones. Have a great day, and we will see you on Tuesday.